Wednesday, April 21st, 2004 at 8:31 a.m. And that's when the doctors confirmed I was a girl. Or so they. When I was a kid, I wore dresses like any other girl did. I knew I didn't have a penis, so I thought I had to be a girl and had to live up to the expectations of being a girl. But it didn't stop me from liking some of the things I did. I remember one year for Christmas, I told Santa I wanted a doll. I felt like having one would make me more of a girl so I could feel normal. Also, I knew my older sister had one, and I looked up to her and copied her every move. I shouldn't question her gender and sexuality, neither would I, so I thought I should be fine with being a girl. My parents got divorced when I was 3 or 4, and not having a guy figure around all the time was hard. I was living with all girls, and I felt like I was separate from them, like I was becoming them, and that was scary for me. I had great times with them, and I loved them very much, but becoming them was not what I wanted. But I didn't know what transgender was. I remember when I was in 2nd or 3rd grade, thinking at one time at recess, if I was a boy or could be a boy, and if I could like girls, then I would like this girl. It was a game I played with myself often. Of course, I had no idea why I was thinking this, so I just brushed it away. 5th grade health class was the year where we learned about puberty. I remember feeling awkward the whole time, like the awkward where I don't belong here. I couldn't understand where this was coming from. I was just grossed out by the talk of having a period like anyone else who isn't a girl would be. I was amused by breast development. I smiled along with the other girls, but for different reasons. Their reason because they were excited to become a woman, but for me, the reason was that I felt like I was getting in on a dirty secret about the wrong gender puberty. The year 2015 brought more trouble and confusion. I remember watching YouTube. For some reason, people's coming out videos were popping up as recommendations for me to watch, so I watched them. I cried along with them because it's a big deal to come out and be your authentic self. I didn't know why I felt connected to them. I wished I'd come out too and be myself. But I couldn't allow myself to, partly because I had no clue who I was. I remember my friend at the time asking me if I was straight. The question caught me off guard and I paused. She started laughing when she thought I was going to say I wasn't. But then I quickly said I was straight and told myself to wash away any feelings I had for anyone who wasn't a boy. I told myself to be straight. Puberty started for me around that time. I was developing as a woman. I tried not to cry every time I had my period or every time I looked down and saw I was developing breasts. I looked forward to something I could cry about so I could let it all out. The summer before middle school, I lost myself in books trying to escape and trying to ignore my feelings and feelings about gender. I didn't know that what I was feeling was dysphoria. I kept imagining I would be taken away and I wouldn't have to live this life anymore. I made up lots of stories about how my life could have been, or a completely different story where I was happy and there was no confusion. I then started feeling suicidal. I was always a shy kid, and I refused to talk much at all during middle school, especially to boys or men. I felt jealous of them because I couldn't look like them. I couldn't be myself. In 8th grade, I really got bad. I was cutting, writing suicide notes, and attempted killing myself. The one part of the reason I was cutting was because I was confused about everything. I didn't and still don't want to be in a body that isn't mine, so I thought if I could cut enough that I could escape this prison. On March 23rd, after an evaluation, I got put into a short-term psychiatric ward. I refused to talk to anyone there. A month after I got out, I was forced back into the hospital after a suicide attempt at school. The only reason I got out of the hospital was to get treatment for my eating disorder. I had many reasons for my eating disorders. Here are 2 of them. I thought that I had to look like the perfect girl so no one could tell I wasn't a girl because I didn't accept that I might not be a girl. I was afraid of people looking right through me before I had figured it out myself. But another part of me hated my breasts and knew that not eating would take them away. I found it hard to talk in treatment because I was uncomfortable because I presented as a girl. But then I went to residential treatment. Residential treatment was really helpful and a good experience, but I was not in a good space mentally. And when I was there, I met 2 people who completely changed my life. One of them uses they, them pronouns and introduced non-binary to me. The other was female to male transgender. the first transgender person I've met in person. With this new vocabulary in my head, I let it sink in for a few weeks. I then decided to use they/them pronouns. I was so scared of coming out and wasn't even sure what that meant for me at the time. The only thing I knew for sure at the time was that I wanted top surgery and to start testosterone. Coming out was hard and also weird because I was totally unsure of myself. I then wanted to change my names. The girls in treatment suggested Andy, and immediately everyone, including myself, fell in love with the name. I asked my case manager at the residential place to help me come out to my mom. My mom said she supports me in whatever, but it didn't seem like it. She said that I shouldn't want to change my name because she gave me that means something to her. Also, when I asked her to change my wardrobe, she said yes, but also added that she knows a lot of people who go through that phase, but it's not a phase. At the time, I was a little hurt, but now I understand. I understand she needed time with it. Someone told me once that the process you went through to come out now has been done by the people you came out to. Now my mom is super supportive and understands me better. She came a long way. As soon as I got home, I cut my hair and bought new clothes. I actually talked in treatment and was happier once I came out. The amount of confidence I had was amazing for me, but that was the only beginning of my transformation. I was discharged to face high school as the real me. When I came out to my friends, some of them accepted me and others didn't. When I went to school, I lost pretty much all of them, but once one of my friends realized I was still me, she accepted me. I started therapy finally. Around that time, I figured out my sexuality. I'm pansexual. I got my first binder right after Thanksgiving break, and it made me so happy. In the spring of 2019, I officially started the process of starting hormones. I am excited for each appointment because that means I'm closer to starting hormones. Recently, I started using both he, him, and they/them pronouns. I started going to an LGBTQ group at the beginning of the year and met great people. As for my mental health, things aren't the best yet, but we're getting there. Right now it seems impossible, but it is possible because so many people have done it before me. Dysphoria is not getting any better, but trusting it will helps.